There is one question almost every man has asked himself, at least once in his life. It usually happens late at night. You are alone in a dark room, your phone screen lights up in the palm of your hand, and right after that, there is a feeling, an uncomfortable one. It's not the feeling of outright sinful guilt. It is the kind of guilt that makes you ask, am I doing something wrong here? If you are listening to this and you've ever felt that way, I want you to know this right from this moment. You are not broken, you are not alone, and you have absolutely no reason to be ashamed of yourself. I have spent a lot of time listening, researching, and trying to deeply understand what men are truly going through. The questions you dare not speak to anyone, the emotions you keep hidden, the silent fears about being broken, and I realized that this story is bigger, deeper, and far more complex than what society tells us. Today, I am going to share with you what I've learned. No judgment, no dogma, no extremism, just the truth. Straightforward, warm, and full of compassion, because I believe that every man deserves to be understood instead of being judged. Redefining the conversation, beyond black and white. First, let me make one thing clear. For years, society has tried to divide us into two camps. One side says people who watch porn are bad, depraved, weak. The other side says people who don't watch are saintly, pure, and strong. But the truth is, life does not operate in this black and white way. Science doesn't either. The effect of porn on each person is completely different. It changes based on a lot of factors. Why are you watching it? What emotional state are you in? Are you currently in a relationship? How do you feel about yourself after watching? Are you lonely or are you severely stressed? Some people use porn as a light, comfortable way to release tension. Some use it to learn, to explore. Some use it to escape, to forget the emotions they dare not face. And that is the most crucial difference. So the real question is not, is porn good or bad? But rather, what is it doing to your emotions, your life, and your relationships? If the answer is positive, stabilizing, and not affecting your real life, then you can rest easy. But if it's making you feel distant, disconnected, and constantly guilty, then perhaps something needs to be re-examined, not because you are wrong, but because you deserve to live better than that. The 8 reasons men watch, and identifying the high risks. So why do men watch porn? In 2019, a large study involving over 2,600 adults pointed out that there are 8 main groups of motives. And when you clearly understand your motive, you will understand yourself a lot better. Some watch to increase pleasure, to aid masturbation. This is the most common reason, and there is nothing wrong with it. Humans have biological needs, and porn sometimes is simply a tool to support that need. Many people watch porn to learn, to understand how the body works, to know how to communicate, stimulate, or experiment with new things, because in reality, society has never properly taught us about sex. Porn often becomes the only self-study curriculum many people have. People love new experiences. Porn provides a safe space to explore things that can't happen in real life. No responsibility, no consequences, just fantasy. Sometimes it is simply entertainment, just like watching a movie, playing a game, or scrolling social media, a way to kill time. And there is a very common reason that few dare to admit. Many men in marriages no longer have sex, not because they don't love their wives, but because life has caused that intimacy to fade. And porn becomes the place where they reclaim the feeling of, I still have desire, I am still alive. But there are 2 motives that I want you to pay special attention to. One is when people watch to distract from negative emotions. When you watch not because you want to, but because you are trying to avoid something. Avoiding pain, avoiding loneliness, avoiding disappointment. Avoiding anxiety, or when people watch to reduce stress, because it works immediately, and the brain learns quickly, oh, every time I do this, I feel lighter. So it becomes a habit. These are the 2 highest risk groups, because when you watch to escape, when porn becomes the way you mask emotions you don't dare to look at directly, a loop begins to form. You watch because of stress. Then you feel guilty. Then because of the guilt, you get stressed again. Then because of the stress, you watch again. That is not porn addiction. That is an addiction to the temporary feeling of not having to face your real pain. The science. porn versus the brain. And now, let's talk about the brain. There is a very common belief. Porn is as addictive as hard drugs. It sounds terrifying, but what does science say? It is true that porn activates the brain's reward system, but do you know what else activates that system? Delicious food, favorite music, a warm hug, the feeling of completing a task. All of them generate dopamine. And the crucial point is the level of activation from porn is much weaker than real intercourse. When you have sex with a real person, your brain receives dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, emotional connection, the warmth of skin, scent, breathing. Porn only provides a very small fraction of that combo, and everyone reacts differently. Some people watch for years and remain stable. Some feel out of control after just a few times. Everyone's brain is different. Everyone's life context is different. If generating dopamine alone meant addiction, then we would be addicted to pizza, addicted to naps, addicted to hugging our partners. The problem is not in the brain. The problem is in the behaviors, emotions, and habits that you build around it. The unspoken benefits, a balanced perspective. Now, let me say what few people dare to mention. If we want to be honest, we have to look at both sides. Saying porn is only harmful is simply not true. Many studies have recorded actual benefits. It provides immediate stress reduction. It helps with better sleep. It increases comfort with one's own sexuality. It relieves needs when a partner is unavailable. For women, content about realistic masturbation helps many learn how to reach orgasm and reduces shame about sexual desire. For couples, watching together helps increase communication, increases desire and arousal, reduces awkwardness in the bedroom, and lowers the pressure to perform well. I am not saying this to encourage you to watch more. I am saying this so you understand that porn is not the enemy. It is just a tool. Used correctly, it can be helpful. Used incorrectly, it creates problems, just like many other things in life. The real risks, it's the habit, not the media. But of course, there are real risks, and I need you to listen carefully because most of what you have heard may not be what you think. The biggest problem is not that porn breaks you. It is mismatched arousal patterns. If you always masturbate in one single way, fast, hard, tight grip, same angle, same type of content, when you step into real sex, your body will be confused because real sex is slower, softer. It doesn't have perfect camera angles. It doesn't have background music. The consequences are difficulty getting an erection, difficulty maintaining interest, difficulty achieving orgasm, or needing to fantasize about porn during intercourse. But listen, it is not that porn broke you. It is that the way you masturbated programmed your body into an overly fixed pattern. And the good news is you can reprogram it. Porn also does not damage the penis, but it can create false expectations, performance pressure, lack of emotional connection, and the habit of masturbating too fast and too hard. And all those things keep the brain from syncing with real sex. But do you know what destroys relationships the most? Not the porn, but the secrecy. When you use porn secretly, when you hide it, you create loss of trust, distance, low self-esteem, and shame. And those things hurt deeper than any video. And there is a loop many men fall into. Watch because of stress, then feel guilty. Guilt creates stress, then watch again. This is not addiction. This is compulsion, get a behavior driven by emotion. The shame trap, moral incongruence. Now, let me talk about something very important. There are many people who are not addicted to porn at all, but they feel like they are. Why? Because they grew up in environments with strict religious upbringings, sexual shame education, anxiety, depression, or excessive self-blame. They might only watch once or twice a week, but they think they are broken. Science calls this moral incongruence, a conflict with one's moral beliefs. They are not addicted to porn. They are addicted to the feeling of guilt. Guilt right, arrow watch, or right arrow more guilt, right arrow watch again. A never-ending emotional spiral. If you are in that spiral, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, do I truly have a problem, or am I just punishing myself? Deep insight. Men watch because they are lonely. And now, let me share what I learned from thousands of men. Men watch porn because they are lonely. More than any other reason, they are being rejected in their own homes. My wife doesn't want to. The marriage is sexless. I feel invisible. Porn becomes the place where they feel like they are still men. They are afraid they are broken and dare not tell anyone. Not friends, not doctors, not even their partners. Porn is where they offload emotions that society does not allow them to express: sadness, loneliness, the fear of not being good enough. And then they punish themselves for it. If you are listening to this and feel a sharp ache in your heart, then I want to tell you, you are not weak. You just need to be seen. How to build a healthy relationship: conscious use. So, how do you build a healthy relationship with porn? I am not advising you to quit porn. I am also not advising you to continue. I just want you to have a conscious relationship with it. First, identify the motive. Before watching, ask yourself, do I want to, or am I running away? If it is running away, then you probably need a different solution. A call with a friend, a breathing exercise, a walk, anything that helps you return to your real emotions. Second, adjust your masturbation habits. Slow down, use a lighter touch, change your posture. Focus on sensation, not speed. This helps you sync up with real sex. Lower the expectations programmed by porn. Real sex is slower, softer, imperfect, and full of emotion. And that is its beauty. And most importantly, communicate with your partner. Talk about your fears, your desires, and your needs. Porn only breaks you when you stay silent. You do not have to quit entirely, but choose healthier content. Something that respects the body, respects consent, is less extreme, and does not make you feel disconnected from reality. And if the guilt is too strong, remember, you are not wrong for having desire. You are only wrong for letting shame control your life. When to seek professional help. When porn occupies more than 3 to 4 hours a day, causes you to miss deadlines, causes you to lose sleep, completely replaces your sex life, or makes you feel out of control. A sex-positive professional can help you unravel the shame spiral, and trust me, there is no shame in that. Conclusion: it's loneliness, not lust finally. Let me say this. After all the research, all the comments, all the stories, I realized one thing. A very simple yet profound thing. Men do not watch porn out of lust. They watch because of emptiness, not because of desire, but because they have no place to share their emotions, not because of addiction, but because no one is truly touching their heart. And when you understand this, you will no longer fear porn. You just need to learn how to use it consciously instead of letting it use you. Final message. If what I shared today has helped you understand yourself better, feel less alone, reduce your silent fear, or simply breathe a sigh of relief, then I am truly glad. I created this channel, Vitality Digest, to be a safe space, a place where men can learn, understand, and heal without judgment. If you feel what I shared has value to you, then hit subscribe. Join me on this path and let us rebuild the self-confidence, the vitality, and the peace in men's lives together. You deserve that. You truly deserve it.